Nick. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Excellent.
I can't hear them.
Hey, let's give it.
Oh, the mic's
Let's give it a.
Oh, they're going to be clicking so that they can. There you go.
Hip, hip.
Oh, so okay. Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Hi.
Good morning. I like that flag back there.
Yeah.
Oh, your flag. Good morning. Well, my name's Janine Turner, and y'all can go ahead and go perfect. My name's Janine Turner, and I'm thrilled to be with y'all this morning. Are you having fun at your camp?
Yay.
Yes, what a great opportunity. I have a ranch and in Texas, and I've often thought a Camp Constitution would be fun out there too. So I think this is really awesome that you have this opportunity to be at such a great facility this morning. And Hal, I thank you for having me. Where are you, Hal? There he is. Yeah, well, okay, we're going to have fun since we just have 50 minutes. I think we should start. You should have these great folders, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody open their folders. Yalma, do you have this? Do you have the coloring book? You're a little old for that, but it could be fun. I still love the color. One of our students, our winning students from our contest, this was her work. Y'all might not have it in your folder. It might just be for elementary school. Okay, so Miss Cranick, did you talk about the contest or anything? Did she go off and get some coffee?
No, I'm here. I'm here. Just sounded a little about your introduction of it, but everyone
Okay.
has a contest flag.
Okay, great. So pull out your contest flyer. We would love for y'all to, I'm going to talk about contest and then we're going to do a quiz and we have fun prizes and everything. And I guess you know I'm the founder and co-president of Constituting America. And we started in 2010 because we, like y'all, believe in the Constitution. Oh, I heard something really cool the other day. You want to hear about this? Okay. We have 3 miracles. I've always said this. This is what I heard yesterday. We have 3 miracles in our country. One was that we had our founding fathers, such as John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, who declared independence from the most powerful country in the world, England, and said, we declare independence. And so that was a miracle. And you know, a lot of them actually didn't, a few did survive. We think, oh, we won the war and everything was fine, but a lot of them did actually lose their lives or all their property. They really sacrificed everything. That was a miracle. They had the power to do that. And everything we're going to talk about was declared in that Declaration of Independence in a little bit. The second miracle was what? That we won the war. And, you know, when our founding fathers and all of our heritage, many of our who were in the war, were on a hill in New York looking over the harbor, and they didn't even have shoes or matching uniforms, or some didn't even have ammunition in their guns. They looked out and saw hundreds of British ships coming in their sails, and they just quaked in their boots, or quaked if they didn't have boots, and ran off, and George Washington was on his horse going, don't go, don't go. The fact that we can win that war, that's another miracle. That's the second miracle in our country. The third miracle is what? I couldn't hear because we're on mute, but did anyone say what the third miracle is?
Go
ahead.
The Constitution, yes, it's the Constitution. That is the third miracle. Because James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, they traveled up to see George Washington, and they said, look, we're going to lose everything that we've fought for if we don't come up with a form of government that can govern all the colonies together, because you know the Articles of Confederation were just not working. So that was the miracle. So we have 3 miracles in our country. And I heard this the other day, this analogy, and I really like it. Think of a fishbowl. You know a little fishbowl with goldfish? You've all seen a fishbowl, right? Okay. So the water is the Declaration of Independence. The fish are you and me. And the bowl is the Constitution that keeps it all together. Right?
Yeah.
So I kind of like that analogy. I think that's a lot of fun. Because without that Constitution holding that water in place and giving us structure for what, in which to swim, we wouldn't be able to be in that water with that Declaration of Independence. That's really sort of fun. Abraham Lincoln said it a little differently. Abraham Lincoln said that the Declaration of Independence was the golden apple, right? The prize. And that the Constitution was the frame that surrounded and protected that apple. So it's really fun to think about those few things. Okay, now back to the contest. So we have an entry for everybody here. And I'm going to show you some really cool links in just a minute. We're going to show you some PSAs. So elementary, we're going to talk for the next group. But if you have a brother or sister, we do have poetry and artwork. I'm going to focus on that in the next group, though. Middle school, you can write an essay for us, or you can do a STEM project. And that means anything from, I would love for someone to do this, hint, hint, and no one's ever done it, is we have a quiz, and we're going to go over this quiz with you in just a minute. I know y'all work on quizzes there, too. You take those and go out and do an interview, poll people, ask them how many of the questions they actually know, and then you can do a graph. Wouldn't that be interesting to know what people know, what they don't know? At your camp, everyone's going to know everything. So, I don't know, everyone will be 100% at your camp. But anyway, STEM projects, you can do all kinds of really interesting things. All the information is at constitutingamerica.org. And the entries are due. Someone gets a prize if they answer this correctly, and this is just so easy for y'all. The entries are due on September 17th. Why do we pick that day? Raise your hand, somebody. Yes.
It was the day that the Constitution was signed, I think.
Yes, it was the day the Constitution was signed. It wasn't ratified on that day, but it was signed September 17th. So you have all summer to work on an entry. Now, if you're in high school, you can do an essay. Do we have some high school students in there today, Beth? Okay, you can do an essay, a STEM project. You can go ahead and mute. There you go. A song. I'm going to show you a pretty simple song, or a public service announcement. That's like a 30 or 60-second commercial. I'm going to show you some examples. So here's what's really cool about our contest. What we do, we have another flyer in there that says Our Impact. You see that? So here are all the kids that won this year. What we do, if you win, you get a trip to wherever we go. We've gone to Philadelphia, New York, Hollywood, Nashville, Washington, D.C., and this year's Washington, D.C. again. So we have the opportunity to go on a trip. You also have the opportunity to meet with a mentor in your field. So if you're a singer or a musician, if you're interested in directing, we've had amazing mentors like John Rich from Big and Rich. For our mentors for public service announcement and short films, one of our mentors one year was Gary Sinise. So if you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, y'all seen the movie Forrest Gump? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he was Lieutenant Dan in he lost his legs in the war, and he's fantastic. He's a great American. So he was our mentor one year. We have amazing mentors. If you went in STEM, you have a mentor in technology. So it's really, really cool. Essay will take you to meet with a newspaper organization or behind the scenes at a network. So it's really amazing. Fox most of the time. So you get the trip. You get to meet with a mentor in your field. You also meet with a constitutional scholar. But also, you also win money. So if you'll win a gift card if you're you'll win a gift card if you're in middle school, a $200 gift card, but if you're in high school, you'll win $1,000. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Now, here's where we do go. We promote your works. So, our song winners, we actually hire a company out of Nashville, and they actually get our song winners on the air, on the radio. So our song winners have had 139 million impressions across the country, over 81 radio stations. So that's pretty cool. And they can be in their car and listen to the radio, and there's their song playing. Our public service announcements, we're going to show you a few of those. 12.3 million viewers have seen, over 275 television stations have seen the public service announcements that kids like you have done. So see, we don't hire fancy advertising agencies. We let you do it, and then we promote you in your works, which is really cool as an actress, because I'm an actress by trade. If I'd been your age sitting there, I would have been so excited that someone was going to help me with my career and get that kind of exposure. The short films, we actually entered them into film festivals for you, and we've had some really cool short films. Some kids do actually sort of your typical movie with different actors going back and forth. It's about 10 minutes, a short film. Others have done a short film all in emojis. This year our winner did a short film and he did the entire thing in sign language. And they're all talking about the Constitution, and all the prompts are at constitutingamerica.org. So we actually enter into film festivals, which is a tedious thing to do. We hire someone to do that. And there are 60,000 moviegoers over 37 film festivals have seen our kids' work. That means someone's eating popcorn and potentially be seeing your work at a screening at a film festival. So then we do a lot of social media work. We've also done a documentary where we do little clips and documentaries. I'm going to show you one today. And these clips could star you as well. So there you have it, right? We're very excited that we actually promote your works, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and we don't have a lot of time today, but I hope that you will join our contest. It would be so much fun. The trips are great. See all the kids in the back, you get to meet kids from all over the state, sort of like you're doing now, that. Okay, any questions about the contest?
There's
Yes,
one
see a
question.
hand.
Can you,
Yes.
can we know what you do for college students, if anything?
Oh, college, sure. It's here on the brochure here.
Yep.
English, and you thank you so much, whoever's doing that. So we have a speech, so instead of an essay, we have the college students write a speech, which is an essay, and then they record it for us, because we're looking for future, leaders. We have STEM project as well. We have a short film, song, and PSA. So everything's essentially the same as high school, except we have a speech. And they win $2,000. $2,000. And we usually give the award at the school, so they get to receive their awards at the school, or if they're in homeschool or something, then we can just give it to them in person. So there you have it. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples of what kids like you have done. Let me see, I'm going to go to my text and see what we have here. All right. So let's go watch. I'm going to show you 3 quick public service announcements. Not just because they're public service announcements, but they also have a wonderful message. Number 3, whoever is handling the videos, do you see L.L. Hicks? Laurel E. Hicks?
Yep.
Yes. I can't hear. Oh, fantastic. Now hers, she was a sophomore or junior, I believe, in Mississippi, and she won a few years ago. This PSA has been all over national television. And hers is, what she did is animation, so we'll play hers first. This is her voice, though. And y'all let me know when it's finished, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hear it.
Okay.
If you had something that you were given, something you loved, something that others wanted so badly but were denied it, something that you used and relied on every single day. If you had something special, something beautiful, something powerful, if you had something absolutely essential to securing your health, happiness, and safety, if you treasured something so much that you were willing to die for that something, if you knew that others already had, and if someone had given you a document that protected that something, wouldn't you take the time to read it?
Very good.
Nice.
Okay, so I think I saw someone applauding. So you saw the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you like it? Isn't it thought-provoking? I really like it. It's true, right? Wouldn't you want to read it? And that's what y'all are. You're ambassadors to go out and teach other people why the Constitution is important. Okay, I'm going to show you another one. Emily Kitzmiller. Emily's from Utah, and she speaks to the camera. So this is Emily. She's number 2 on your list, I believe.
Hold on. One sec. Oops. Well, I believe this is it. So,
Do you know what constitutes our Constitution? This living document that's a fusion of our forefathers' vision for the future of this nation. We have a Bill of Rights. We're not built for these rights, but we've been given these rights because we live. We don't have to pay every day when we don't watch what we say. A penny for our thoughts is not what we give, but we give off our thoughts by the way that we live. And there are soldiers who died, men and women who paid the price, in the blink of an eye, giving their lives to make our lives nice. And we can't fight to preserve these rights, to reach new heights, get through the darkest nights together if we don't know. We the people, we the future, can't make it right if we don't show an interest in learning the script that governs our lives. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but if you belong to this country, then there are rights that belong to you so long as you do one thing. You know your Constitution and your freedom that it brings. You can't fight for what's right. You can't find a flaw if you've never shed light on the supreme law of the land. The land of the free and the home of the brave requires your knowledge and God's good grace in order to save our human race in the face of terror. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you need to choose what you're going to do because you could lose everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you hear me now? Oh, did y'all look? Did y'all? Okay, great. Did you like that one too?
Yeah.
clap,
Okay,
chicken.
here's the third one. Here's the third one. And this is by Dakare, and he is wonderful. As a matter of fact, Dakare, we did a billboard of him. So now his billboard, I don't know if Bobby has a picture of that. His billboard is all over the country now. So, there you go. Can you see it on the screen? Yes. There's Dakare. So here is his. It's very short. It's 30 seconds.
You don't see the video.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is because they don't have them numbered. So, and I don't see it on. So hopefully she comes
It's an
back.
American thing.
You see it?
Yep, right there. Right there, November 8th.
Right here?
Yeah. Right there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey you! Stop and listen. This is a public service announcement with Dakari Chapter. Why should you know your Constitution and why should you know your rights as a U.S. citizen? How would you like it if someone didn't allow your club to meet at your house? I would, because that's not cool. How would you like to be tried without a jury? I would, because that's not cool. These things are not cool. Learn your rights as a U.S. citizen so you know what to do in these situations. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's an American thing, so learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so raise your hand if you like Laura Lee Hicks the best, the one that was animated.
They're all good.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think that was very powerful. I do too. Okay, raise your hand if you like Emily Kitzmiller. Here's the second one. Okay, yeah. She talked really fast to get off. Raise that hand if you like Jakari, the third one.
They're all good.
Yeah, good.
Everyone's not participating. I didn't see all hands.
3 times. They're
Raise your
all
hand if you
good.
like Laura Lee Hicks.
Like them all.
Come on, you guys.
Raise your hand if you like Emily. Raise your hand if you like Jakari.
Raise it again.
All right. Well, do you want to see a bit of, do we have any musicians in the room?
Yes.
Any singers? Okay, I'll show you a little bit of Gabriella's. We're not going to see the whole thing. This is a music video, which, by the way, we re-record the songs professionally.
Yeah, if you can tell me the name of the video. We don't have numbers on it, so if you can
Oh,
give
sure. It's Gabriella Tomasi. It should be, I'm assuming they're in order here. It would be like the 5th one down.
It's a song.
The right solution.
No, right solution. Okay, let's look. Found it.
Okay, good deal. So, you know, we'll watch, we did this music video for her in Texas, and we re-recorded her song. She was in middle school, like 6th grade, so, and she plays the electric guitar. And I won't be able to hear it, so y'all let me know. Let's just do like a minute of it.
Okay, minute.
So y'all let me know when you're finished.
In the year 1789, the law of the land was established and signed. Set some rules, it was one of a kind. Here's the best part, unchanged by time. The Constitution has the freedom of speech and the freedom of practice and the freedom of assembly. It grants the right to protest, and all of this makes the U.S. the best. The Constitution, they say it's the right solution. We love you, love the USA. Live by it every single day.
Good?
Good. Alright.
The Constitution is a
That was a little bit longer than a minute, but
It's good.
So you got a little taste of that. Now, if I had more time, I would show you our emoji movie. We have tons of videos of the kids over the years, over 8 years of contest winners now. A lot of our winners that have done STEM projects have been in documentaries with us. We have this great clip called Civil Civic Conversation, where they sit around and talk about that. And Jeanette's going to get back to Ms. Cranack and let me know if we have that. But in essence of time, we're going to do this little quiz. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's in the back of the right-hand side. And I don't know if y'all have, you don't really need to have pencils or anything, you know. But we'll just go through it together. And so I think y'all should have goodie bags of prizes. Is there someone there to pass out a prize? And then also, is there someone to choose hands when they go in the air? Because I know everyone's just gonna, so many are gonna know everything. I can't hear y'all, but if there's someone could, when they raise their hands, pick the hand for me, because it's hard for me to do on this end. And also, I think you have your goodie bag prizes. So
do we have the goodie bag?
Where all systems go on both those things. All systems are go. Okay. All right. So number one, y'all raise your hand, and we have prizes. What is the Constitution? And I know y'all already have one. You have a pocket Constitution right there in your. And also, by the way, just as a, do you have my daughter's book, Our Constitution Rocks? If someone has it, then you can hold it up there. So she wrote that in 8th grade, and it was published by HarperCollins, and it's done really well across the nation. Some schools are using it in their classroom. So if you get a little confused about what they're saying here, you can always go to her book. And you can always get one on Amazon or something if you'd like to look over it later. But she really breaks it down into modern language and a lot of cartoons and things of that nature. So, I mean, even law students like it. So, it's not elementary, but it's definitely helpful. It's definitely helpful. Okay, what is the Constitution? You can go ahead and let me hear their.
The supreme law of the land for everyone.
Say it again. So
Stand up.
Okay. The supreme law of the land for everyone.
Yay!
Yay!
You get a prize.
You got a prize.
Okay, so listen, y'all are going to know so much of this, and here's the way I look at this. You are ambassadors. You are leaders. And if you are going to have conversations, most definitely, with people about the United States Constitution as you grow up and go about your life. So there are going to be a lot of people out there that don't like the Constitution, are going to think it's outdated and that you don't need it anymore. So what this is, what we're going to talk about is we're going to kind of go over these questions which will help empower you to then have a conversation with someone else about the Constitution and why it matters. So yeah, supreme law of the land for everyone. A lot of people think it's under C. It's a document that can be interpreted in any way to further our political agenda, but it is not.
No way.
Enumerated
Wrong.
That
is wrong.
Of how it works. And by the way, we have this in here. If you go find this really quickly, this is a little fun thing we saw Senator Ted Cruz do, because he was our speaker one year. He got up on stage and said, TCC, NCC, PCC, Pond, Mama, Red. We're like, what? What did you just say? This is in the back of your folder. If you look at your folder on the right-hand side, you should see this. TCC, NCC, PCC, Pond, Mama, Run. These are Article 1, Section 8. These are the enumerated powers of the legislative branch. Everything they do needs to be within these confines, because everything in the Constitution is what you can do, not what you can't do, which is why they didn't think we needed a Bill of Rights. Alexander Hamilton, they talk about that a lot. You don't need a Bill of Rights. We're not telling you you can't have a Bill of Rights, but they did it anyway, and as the anti-federalists, the people who were against the Constitution and thought states would lose their powers, they're like, we have to have freedom of speech. It's a good thing we have a Bill of Rights. But Article 1, Section 8, the powers, the constitutional powers of Congress, taxes, credit, commerce, naturalization, coinage, counterfeiting, post office, copyright. Copyright's really huge. If someone says they don't like the Constitution, you go, yeah, but it gives you the right to own your works. If you create something, don't you want to be able to own those works? Copyright was, I believe, you know, that's like if you invent something, you get to own it and say, this is mine. In the olden days, if you invented something, it was the kings or the queens or the dictators. You didn't get to own it and profit from it and have the glory and claim, you know. But now you get to have that. Really important. Courts, privacy, army, war, navy, militia, money for militia, I guess Waking Washington, D.C., rules necessary and proper. So necessary and proper is really the clause that kind of is vague. But, by the way, is the preamble law? The preamble.
Okay, we have Stephen.
Steven, come to the camera.
No, it's not the law.
Yes, y'all know so much.
Okay.
It is not the law. Now, I think you know more than a lot of congressmen and congresswomen, because back in 2010 they passed a bill that said if you put a new idea into the hopper, you know, of a bill that you want to write and have people vote on, well, you have to attach a memo in the back that says constitutionally how you have that right. Back to that TCC, PCC, and what area does this fall? And a lot of the congressmen and women put the preamble, but the preamble is not law. It was written by Gouverneur Morris, because he was the one that said he should write the Constitution and put it just in words, like write it out and organize it. He goes, why don't you do a little summary? So it's just a little summary. It's not the law. And Gouverneur Morris had a peg leg. He was really cool. I think governor. They say Gouverneur, at least that's the way I know it. Okay, number 2, this is super, super simple. The Constitution outlines 3 branches of government in Articles 1, 2, and 3. What are those 3 branches?
Gabe.
Legislative, executive, and administrative.
Almost, but not so.
Levi.
Judicial, legislative, executive.
Yep. Got it.
Yes, very good. This is a prize too. Now, number 3. What order did our founders put them in? So when you open up the Constitution, what's the order?
Yeah, Mary, up.
Stand up.
Legislative, executive, judicial.
Yes, legislative, executive, and judicial. Very, very good. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. I'm going to stay on it with you for just a little bit. You can go ahead and mute, I guess. Thank you so much. Okay, so legislative, executive, and judicial. Why? Okay, the first thing, raise your hand for me if you can just get on an airplane or in a car or even bicycle if you want to, or walk to Washington, D.C., go to the White House, knock on the White House door, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, and say, hi, I have a few things I want to chat with you about that we need to change in our country. Can you and I do that? Yeah, well, we can't just knock on the White House door and go in and have a chat with the president, you know. So our founders knew that. They knew that Washington, D.C. was way up there, and that the country was big, and it was hard to get to Washington, D.C. Back then, if you got to Washington, D.C., you probably could have a chat with George Washington or John Adams or Thomas Jefferson.
That's true.
But not now. You cannot go to the White House and have a conversation with President Trump or just knock on the door and say, hey. So we are given the legislative branch, and the legislative branch is in your neighborhood. And what's cool is that if you have any issue, even at your age, you could actually call your representative, make an appointment, go see your representative. You can just walk in Washington, D.C. too, when they are in D.C., and you can go talk to them, but they're also in your neighborhood right there. You have the senator, which could live somewhere in your state, but your representative in the House of Representatives lives right there near you, and you can call them whenever you want to have change. And that's why the legislative branch is so important. And yet, millions and millions and millions of people show up when the president is on the ballot every 4 years to vote, as if he's a king or queen, or she's a king or queen. Is she a queen? They show up all the time. They're like, but is the president supposed to be the most important person?
No.
No. Yes. No. I saw some. You were correct. The president is never supposed to be a king or a queen. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, a male or female, doesn't matter. They're not supposed to be the most powerful person. And yet so many people in our country just vote every 4 years because they think that's the most important vote. Remember, you're supposed to vote. When else are you supposed to vote? Someone raise your hand and tell me.
How often are we supposed to vote? Raise your hand if you know. Marianne?
Every year.
Good try.
The answer was every year.
Almost.
2 years.
Stand up.
Really loud. She can't hear you.
2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yes, every 2 years. Very good. So let's go over this a little bit. In the House of Representatives, they are elected, and they only have 2 years. 2 years. And then they have to be, the whole House has to be voted on again. Okay? So if you're only voting every 4 years for the president, you're missing out on your vote for the most important person, the person you can go to in your neighborhood, who will talk to you about what you want to change. So remember to vote in what they call the midterm elections. That means it's in between the two big presidential elections. So you vote every 2 years. Really important, or you're not having any say, because I want you to feel empowered, right? You don't have any power if you don't vote every 2 years and know who's in your area looking after you. So that's really important. The president's every 4 years, and the senators are every 6 years. But the whole Senate doesn't just evacuate at once. So in thirds, they are reelected, which means every 2 years, you're also going to have a senator to vote for, as well as every 4 years, because the terms come up every now and then. So isn't that cool though? 2, 4, 6. So one of the other really amazing things. So the legislative branch is first. All right. So and this is why they're near you. Also, I'm going to give you an analogy about the bill. Okay. Tell me. Somebody raise their hand and tell me something that you would like to change in your neighborhood. What bothers you in your neighborhood? Or in the country, that you would like to see change?
Stand up. Alex.
Promotion of smaller businesses in our town.
What did he say? I heard him.
Promoting smaller businesses in town.
Okay, very good. So we're going to go over this in number 5. You can go ahead and mute, please, because the echo's just so bad. We're going to go in number 5, how you can go about doing that. But see, if you want to promote smaller businesses in your area, the president has so many other things that's going on, and you can't get to the president anyway. So the president's not going to be the person to go to. The senator is going to be looking after the whole state. The person you want to go to is a representative in your area. Now, how do you find them? You go on the internet and you put you Google who represents me, and you put in your zip code. Who represents me? And there'll be a couple of options, and you click on that, and there you'll see everyone who represents you. From federal, state, local, school board, you name it. Everyone's there. So that's how you find who that person is that represents you, and how you can go to, even at your age, you can go sit down and talk with them. So they're really actually very important people. And we're going to talk about how you can go about doing that. One quick, we only have 10 minutes. One quick analogy I'll give, well, I don't know if I have time for this. I'll do it. Okay, tell me your favorite food. Somebody tell me your favorite food real quick.
Ramen.
Stand up.
Ramen.
What do you say?
Ramen?
Ramen.
As in ramen noodles?
Ramen
noodle,
okay.
yeah.
But that's kind of a single processed food. Is there anything you like on top of that? Any vegetables or sauce?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's imagine that it's
Tacos.
Tacos. Okay, tacos are good. Okay, tacos. All right, so tacos. You go into a restaurant, and it's a Mexican restaurant, and you have a waiter there, and you order tacos. And the waiter, and now we're going to do a parallel universe here. You ready? So you're in a restaurant, and you're ordering tacos. And your waiter, you tell that to the waiter. Imagine that's other universe, what we're talking about, which is that is your representative in your area, the waiter or waitresses. So you go into their office and you say, this is what I would like to help small businesses in our area. That's your order, okay? So now your waiter takes it to the kitchen, and that your representative is wanting to help small businesses in your area, and maybe less regulation or whatever it might be. They're taking that to Washington, D.C., to Congress. So now they're all in the kitchen, and they're putting together all the ingredients for this taco, right? The beef, the cheese, doesn't make you hungry, the lettuce, everything. They're putting it together, the shell. That's what Congress does. They put together all the ingredients for this bill about less regulation. Is kind of a weird word. What that means is less laws. They want to make it easier for people to have small businesses. They're working on this bill, and they're in the House and the Senate, and they're putting all their ideas and their ingredients into this bill. So finally they finish it and agree on it. Your taco's finished. Now it goes to the manager. Who's the manager? What branch of government is the manager?
President.
Executive?
Yes!
Yes, right.
The manager is the executive, and this manager of the restaurant is going to be responsible for getting the taco to you. Okay? Because he's going to sign off on it. The people who made it were in Congress, but now the president is going to say, I think this looks good, I sign it. So he's looking at your taco. He goes, wait a minute. You forgot the cheese. You forgot the cheese, so now it has to go back to the kitchen. So the president can do that. He can say, no, I'm not going to sign this. It's got to go back. You have to have this. So now it goes back to the kitchen. It gets fixed up again. It goes back to the manager at the restaurant, which is the president. And the president says, okay, fine, I sign off. And the manager of the restaurant says, this taco looks good. Okay. So now it goes to the food inspector. The food inspector, the restaurant inspector, you ever see those ratings A, B, and C on the windows of restaurants? The food inspector is there. Uh-oh. So the food inspector is looking at this taco. What branch of government is the food inspector? What branch is that?
What branch is the food inspector?
Judicial?
Yes! What cool branch is those cool sunglasses? Judicial branch. So now,
She got
the
two
food
already.
inspector looks down and says, this taco,
Yeah, to change
too many ingredients, but way too much lettuce.
change one. Yeah.
Cannot have this much lettuce.
Varieties.
Can't have this much lettuce. So that's what the Supreme Court does. They look at a bill and say, this bill there are too many laws in this bill. Sorry about the siren. Too many constrictions in this bill. And so they send it back, and it has to be worked on again. Back to the kitchen, back to the manager, and then finally everyone agrees and you get your taco. And your representative and the president, they execute it in the executive branch, and they say, here you go. Here is your new law so that your government in your area, you can now open a small business. Do you see the two parallel universes there? So whenever you go out to eat, or you eat dinner, and you look at all those ingredients in your food, you're going to think about a bill in Congress, aren't you? You're never going to look at a taco again the same. All right, we need to move very quickly now. Number 4, all members of our Congress swear. The presidents, judges, and members of our armed forces must swear to protect the people, the Constitution themselves, and the Declaration of Independence.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
Yes, the Constitution. Now, a lot of kids are very surprised about this, and as an ambassador, when you speak to people, they will say, well, the military swears to protect the people, or the president swears to protect the people. Well, think of that dictator in North Korea. You've all heard of him, right? Raise your hand if you've heard of him. You've all heard of him.
Rocket Man.
Okay, so he gets up there and says, I swear to protect the people, but the people are going to do what I say. And I know what they can say, and I know that they can't have this religion, and you can't tell me how to run the government with a petition, and the press cannot say this because I'm protecting you. I'm protecting you, and I know what's best for you. Well, that's what happens in a dictatorship. That's why we have a constitution, because in the Federalist Papers, the Federalist, which explains the Constitution through 85 opinion editorials with James Madison, John Jay, and Alexander Hamilton wrote, they talk about men are not angels. We are not angels. Which means, what happens when we get a taste of power? What do we want?
More power.
More power.
More power. Like eating one cookie. You can eat one cookie. So we want more power. So we swear to protect the Constitution because the checks and balances in this document, the checks and balances in this document actually protect you and me. So whoever's representing us in any form of the government has to abide by the rule book, has to abide by the supreme law of the land. And here's the thing, guys. If you don't remember, and gals, if you don't remember anything else from today, remember this. If you don't know what's in here, you won't know if they're telling you the truth.
Right.
And if you don't know if they're telling you the truth, then you're going to lose your freedom. Super, super important. I'll give you a very quick example. Who can tell me, because I definitely want to get through 5 here, but who can tell me what happens when a president goes abroad and makes a treaty with another nation? So let's say President Trump goes over to meet with North Korea, and he comes back and he goes, you know what? He's just a really nice guy, that Kim Jong-un. I like him. I like him, and he doesn't want to have any more nuclear. We don't want him to have nuclear weapons, so he said we had to get rid of all of our nuclear weapons. And I thought, you know what? Why not? So, ladies and gentlemen, and President Trump would never do this, but ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have any more nuclear weapons, and so North Korea won't. And go have a nice day. I made a treaty with them. Here it is. Here's the new treaty. Okay, bye. Can he do that?
No.
Can he do that?
No.
No, he cannot do that. Neither could President Obama, because it has to what? What check happens with that treaty?
You're about to learn it in the next class, but some of you may know.
Do
Go
they
ahead.
know?
Yeah.
The treaty has to be ratified first.
Yes, say
What
it,
did she say?
say it louder.
Be ratified.
The treaty has to be ratified first.
Yes, by whom?
The Congress.
The Senate?
No.
The Senate.
She said the
Senate.
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 The Senate. Very good. Very good that you do that. Very good.
Yeah.
It has to be ratified by the Senate. Okay, the Senate, remember, are our representatives from our state, the senators. So that's a check. They say, no, you just can't go do it. That's a wonderful check on power. There's so many of these in the Constitution. Very, very important. Now, I'll give you a little example of how, if we're not paying attention, how slippery things can get. I don't think we're just one day going to wake up and have a Hitler on our hands. I think if we lose our power, it's going to be very, very subtly, like in small little increments to the point we won't even know what's happening. Let me give you an example. Both Democrat and Republican presidents had changed the name of the treaty. So they go abroad, and the Iranian deal is one of them that President Obama did, and we're nonpartisan, so I'm not saying this is a good or bad or anything about President Obama. I'm just saying he did, through his representatives, a treaty with Iran, but he didn't call it a treaty. Now, the Federalist Paper says any treaty, any agreement made with a foreign nation is a treaty. And yet, he went abroad, and he made this agreement with Iran, and came back, but it didn't have to be ratified by the Senate because he changed the name. They've been doing this for a while, Republican and Democrats. They started calling it an executive agreement. It's just an executive agreement. And since it's just an executive agreement, it does not have to be ratified. Sneaky, right? Sneaky. Been going on for decades. So we've just lost our power as a people because we're letting our presidents go over and change the name of the document so that it doesn't have to be ratified by the Senate. So there's more to that story, but I'll leave it at that. And it's really important to see that, you know, and I wrote a petition about this, saying, wait a minute, it needs to be ratified by the Senate. It's a long story. But, and if you make a bill to look at it, well, then that gives the power back to the president because he can veto that bill. So they don't say it's a bill that has to ratify that treaty. They say only the Senate. And if the Senate says no, it ends there. The president can't override it or veto it or anything. So really important that they've changed the name of treaties. Do you see how it works? So we have to pay attention. It's going to be small little increments. And if we don't know what's in this document, where my Constitution was, if we don't know what's in here, we won't know if they're telling us the truth or if they're subtly trying to trick us a little bit. Okay, last one. I know you got to go, and there's so many other great things to talk about, but this is what you do if you want to change something in your neighborhood. Very last thing here. What are our inalienable rights in the First Amendment?
There's a new hand back there.
Yes.
All of the above.
Say it really loud.
All of
Move
the
a little
above.
closer.
All of the above.
Yes, very good.
Yeah,
All
correct.
of the above. Now, a way you can remember your First Amendment rights is think of a rap. Think of a rap song. A raps. Religion, assembly, press, petition, speech. Raps. Like a rap song. Those are your First Amendment rights. Okay, this is your power, everybody. These Bill of Rights, that start with 1 through 10, the first 10 amendments, but this is the first one. This is your power. In Hong Kong right now, they're protesting over these type of things because they're afraid they're going to lose them. If we lose these, we lose everything. And what protects these are the checks and balances I was just talking about in the United States Constitution. But this is also your power to create change that you want to do. So the young man that said he wanted to have smaller businesses, to help the smaller businesses. What's your first thing you do? Now, the first thing a lot of people do, your age, right, is they run to the streets and they do this mass protest. And they go, yeah, yeah. And then the president says, so why are you here? And they go, I don't know, everybody else is here. Yeah. Right? And this happens. Big marches, big why are you here? I don't know. So we are a government of laws, not a government of mob passion. They were very afraid of democracy of mob passion. We're a nation of laws. So if you want change, you have to start with a petition. What's a petition? Someone tell me very quickly, what's a petition?
What's a petition? Over here, go ahead.
Normally it's where you get signatures to support your side.
You get signatures to support your side.
Yes. So it's not some old document like in a scroll that's yellow with a fountain with a pen, feather pen, and put on the church wall. No, it's something you can do today. You get a piece of paper, you write bullet points. There's a sample one in your folder that I did called the Truth Act. And you say, small businesses, this is what I'd like to change. And it doesn't have to be fancy. So you write it down, you get very specific. The second thing you do is you use your freedom of speech. So now you use your speech and you can talk about it. You talk about your ideas. You get support, okay? Number 3, you go to the press. You say, hi, I'm 12 years old, 13. I've written a petition about small governments in my neighborhood, and I want to know if you would like to do an interview with me in your local paper or local, internet paper. Odds are great So now you have the press. Press is very important because it exposes what you want and the change that you want. Now you see how you're getting your power? Your power is right here in this First Amendment. So you've got your petition. In a lot of countries, you still can't do this. Iran, China, places in Africa, places in South America. You cannot do this. Korea, North Korea. So now you have your petition, you use your speech, and you call the press. Now you plan your march in the streets. You take your petition, you copy it, and you hand out your petition to everybody who, you get signatures on it, by the way. And everybody that's in your march now has this very specific law that you know, very thoughtful petition. Now you plan your march, say on April 7th. Now, very important, you call your representative in your neighborhood. You Google who represents me, you put in your zip code, you call that representative and you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm 13, I'm 17 years old, whatever. You're my representative. I want small businesses to have a bigger chance in the neighborhood. So I just want to let you know that I have a petition. It has hundreds of signatures. I've reached out to the press, and we are having a march on April 7th. And I'd like to know if you want to come. Do you think that representative is going to listen to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that representative is going to listen to you because that representative wants to be reelected. And the one thing I say is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Have you ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you have, and I'm almost finished, if you have 4 wheels on a car, 3 are going just fine, you don't pay any attention to them. You got a wheel there that's making a lot of noise, well, you're going to go, wait a minute, I need to look at that. I need to look at that tire, that's not good, Texas. I need to look at that tire and I need to get it fixed. That's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You have to remember, what you want, maybe not everybody else wants. So there may be hundreds of people going into that representative saying, or even one, loud in person, saying, I don't want small governments to have any power in this area. I want it to all be parks and recreation, no businesses. So if they've got a squeaky wheel, they're going to think, well, that's what my people want. They want me to go do parks and recreation. You have to fight that. You have to be organized, and you have to know what you want. So you call that representative because they want to be reelected, and now they're scared because you have a petition, you've spoken about it, you have signatures, you have press, and you have a march. Now when you go out in that march, and everyone's going, yes, help small businesses, and the press comes up to you and says, hey, why are you here? Anybody, everyone in that march would say, well, I'm here because we want to have small businesses have a more opportunity, and we have our petition, and here are the 5 ways we would like that to be done. Now you sound really smart. Now people are going to really pay attention to you, and that is your power. So remember, if there's something you want to change about the government, you can. You can start at your age, okay? And we're out of time, so I think it's go to the back of the page here, but that's, to me, it's something I think is really cool to know very specifically how you can go about affecting change in your neighborhood. I speak to a lot of kids, and they say things to me like, too many drugs in my neighborhood, or it's too dark, we want more lights, or the streets are really bad, you know, there are a lot of potholes, and well, you can make a difference. So that's the power that I want you to feel. Washington, D.C. isn't just a bunch of people up there making tacos, right? They're there for you, and they're listening to what you have to say. But if you're not specific, and if you don't talk, if you don't call your representative, other people will be doing it. And then suddenly things will be changing in your neighborhood. You'll be saying, why is the whole neighborhood just parks? Why can't I go buy some clothes here? Or what's going on with my neighborhood? That's because there have been a lot of squeaky wheels that have been taking over the government, and you have to make sure that you talk to. Okay, I think I have to stop.
Okay.
All right.
Leaders of America, and y'all go have a great time. Thank you for being there, for loving our country and our founding documents, and I hope y'all have a great day.
Korea's on us, Janine.
Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah!
I can't hear y'all.
Can I hear? Oh.
Oh, wait, one more time. Hold on.
Let's
She's
do
on
it. Let her hear it.
Ready? Okay.
Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah!